What's up everybody, my name is Donal and I want to help you build better websites. This video then continues on our introduction into the various different web languages, and we're going to focus in on CSS here, so cascading style sheets. In the blue box we've got kind of a prototype CSS selector, so you'd have typically your tag name up here or a class name or an ID perhaps, and then you have attribute value pairs where the attribute is separated from the value with a colon, and at the end of each line then you'll put in a semicolon. So to give you a real world example then, if we wanted our page to have a grey background like this, we'd style the body tag and we'd give it a background colour of grey. First thing I want to focus in on then are the various different text properties. So we're going to create a little dummy paragraph of text, and we're going to change the alignment, and we're going to change the text transform properties. Over here in brackets then, what I've got is a very simple, very plain document here with a heading and a paragraph in it. As you can see over on the right then, I've got my Chrome browser open with live reload, and what I've got here then, this is the main thing, line number 6, I'm linking to a document here called text styles, text_styles.css. At the moment in our style sheet then, we're just applying a colour of royal blue. When we're finished with a line, or we want to add in another line of code, what we do then is put a semicolon at the end, and we can use text align, and if we put it to center, you can see then in real time this gets changed into the center of the screen. Let's change it out again. Let's go for a right, like that. Now you've got a nice straight edge here along the right of the screen, and if we were to go to justify, you'll see then that it should give you a nice straight edge here along the left and the right hand side like that. So you've got kind of flexible spacing in between the words themselves. You can use the left property like that, but that's the default setting in HTML. Next thing then that we can do is try out the text transform. So the nice thing about brackets then is that it gives you all these suggestions. So if we capitalize, you can see here there's only one capital letter here. If we capitalize and save this document, you can see that all the words then get a capital letter. What about if we lowercase and save? What'll happen then? Every word then gets a lowercase letter like this. If we were to do uppercase, the opposite is true. Everything gets capitalized. So it's like you're shouting essentially. The next two properties then that we're going to have a look at are the text indent. So that's how much the first letter or the first word even gets indented when you create a new paragraph. And then the line height, that's a bit like the line spacing in a text editor or word processor. So over here now then we can use our text indent like this. And what we'll do then is set it to be, let's give it a pixel value for the moment. Let's go to 50 pixels, and you can see then that there's an indentation in here, so it gets moved 50 pixels from the right, or you can use M's as well, like that, so it'll get pushed in a little bit to the right as we change that. The next property then that we're going to have a look at is the line height. So what we can do here is set it to be a little bit larger than 1. You can see the lines then are moving further and further apart. 1.5 here, that might be a standard one that you might use in your word processor. And don't forget as well that you can actually use it, make it closer together by setting it to a number less than 1 if that was something that you wanted to do. A couple more font attributes here, so you can do things like change the size of the letters themselves, their weight and their style, such as italic and bold, or strong and emphasis. We can have this font variant, so there's a couple of different variants you can use, and probably the most interesting one here is the font family, so that's the one that most people want to know about. Let's change the font size here. If we set it to be a small size and save, you can see that the text disappears like that. Let's make it a bit bigger again. Let's go back to 18. What about our font style? So we can do things like normal or an italic, so it's where it's leaning forward, or you can have oblique, which is very similar as well. You can have font weight, and we could set it to be a numeric value. So lots of different font families then include different weights with them when you download them. Let's just go for bold so you can see what it looks like when it's italic and when it's bold. We can also add in a font variant like that, and you can set it to be small caps like this. So if we save this, what you'll see then is that the first letter will be capitalized and all the subsequent letters will also be capitalized, but they'll be smaller letters then as well. So one thing here that gets in the way is this uppercase property. That seems to override then the small caps property. So if we change this to none, you'll be able to see then the small caps example like this, where everything is capitalized but in kind of smaller letters, rather than uppercase where everything is the same line height all the way across. Final one then we want to have a look at is our font family, and what we can do is set it to be something else. For example, Futura. You can specify any sort of font that's installed on your computer, and you can use it like this, just by writing the name of the font. Another text property then that we can add in is the text decoration. So we could go back here now, we could add in the text decoration. We could have line through, and what that will do, if I save it, is put a line through all of the text like that. Looks like it's been deleted. We could also do underline, and that underlines, obviously, the text on the screen. So that's it for this video then. I hope you've enjoyed this very gentle introduction to styling text with CSS. We've gone through quite an amount of different properties here. So let me know then which ones you think are the most interesting in the comments below. And if you have any questions then, be sure to ask in the comment section as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.